Welcome to Jeff's Changes for Life. Today, we're going to talk about how to apologize the right way and what you should expect from others, too. As always, this program in no way, shape, or form is a substitute for anybody that requires professional medical or psychological attention or treatment. So let's get into this. Why would I talk about apologizing in the same conversation as I talk about change? So, how do you apologize the right way, and what can you expect from others? I bring this up because a real apology isn't just words, it's change. Hey, it's Jeff, and today we're talking about something that a lot of people get wrong: how to apologize the right way. And just as important, what you should expect when someone apologizes to you. Because here's what I've learned: most people don't actually know how to apologize. So I'm going to go way back in our lives when we're little kids and we're having squabbles with other kids, brothers, sisters, cousins, whoever it is. And we can all think back to that pouty apology. I'm sorry. No thought put into it, no nothing. Well, the unfortunate part is as we become adults, not much of that changes. We give those empty apologies, hoping to cloud things up and just move on. So people, this is what they end up knowing. They actually learn how and know how to smooth things over. They know how to deflect. They know how to sound sorry. But a real apology, one that brings healing, clarity, and growth, that's something different. And it's rare. Why most apologies don't work? We live in a world where people treat apologies like a magic wand. I said I'm sorry, so why aren't we good? You're still upset? I already apologized. Or the classic, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not an apology. That's a deflection. That's a smokescreen. It's not about healing. It's about escaping accountability. So I know we've all seen and experienced that. So what does a real apology look like? Here's the standard that I try to hold myself to, and I believe it's the one we all deserve. Step one is own exactly what you did. Start with the truth. Clear and direct. No dancing, no justifications. Not I'm sorry I hurt you. Say, I said something I shouldn't have. That was wrong. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't blur the lines. Don't hide between intent. Talk about impact. Number two, acknowledge the impact. This is the piece most people skip, but it's the one that matters the most. The person you hurt wants to know that you get it. I broke your trust. I embarrassed you. I made you question your worth. I triggered pain you were already carrying. That kind of clarity makes someone feel seen. It's not easy, but it's real. Step three, a real apology includes evidence that you're growing. What are you doing now to ensure it won't happen again? Since then, I've started therapy. I've been practicing how to communicate without shutting down. I've been holding myself accountable for my anger. At this moment, I have to get into the black and white. I think every one of you have dealt with somebody that just clouds it up, smokescreen, blurs. God, I'm not even sure what happened. I mean, I'm not really sure, but I'm sorry. Let's get past this. Well, nothing feels worse than when somebody doesn't come to the table clean about what they did, what they've learned to not do something like that again. Because if they just smokescreen it and hope it slides under the rug, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do it again. And if they do come to the table completely owning what happened, this is where the apology becomes action, not just words. So step 4 is don't demand forgiveness. And this is a big one. Understand when you apologize, you're not owed forgiveness. You're not guaranteed reconnection. You're offering something, not negotiating for something. You can say, I understand if you're not ready to move forward. You have every right to feel whatever you're feeling. This apology is something I need to give no matter what the outcome. So now that we know what needs to go in our apology, what should you expect when someone apologizes to you? Let's flip it now. Just like you have a standard for how you apologize, you also have the right to have a standard for the apologies you accept. I have to revisit this because when it comes to your peace, I need to mention this and solidify this again. You teach people how to treat you. You need to expect clarity, not confusion. If someone's apology leaves you more confused than clear, it's not an apology. You should hear exactly what they're owning, what they understand, and what they're doing to make it right. And this part can be a tough one for a lot of people, but hey, don't settle for surface. You don't have to accept. Let's just move on. Can we forget this ever happened? I didn't mean to. You can expect depth, accountability, and change. That's not harsh. That's healthy. So I know this part's going to be deja vu all over again. Pay attention to pattern, not just words. And how many times have I talked about patterns? Some people apologize because they want to hit the reset. But if nothing changes after the apology, it wasn't real. It was a performance. Now, as we dig deep, this one can be a tough one for people to handle. Sometimes a real apology still won't save the relationship. Here's the hard truth. Even if you apologize the right way, even if you mean every word, you might not be able to fix what's broken. And that's okay. The purpose of an apology is not to get something back, it's to honor the truth. It's to give closure, it's to clean up your side of the street so you can walk forward with integrity, even if they don't walk beside you. So I would be remiss if I didn't give you the black and white about when people cloud it up, what that really tells you. And I'm doing that for a reason because I want you to find your peace. I want you to be able to identify people and see what they're doing. When they're going to do it, let them do it because it's going to tell you everything you need to know about that person because you can decide whether they're part of your peace or somebody you need to keep at a distance or not in your life at all. Let's take it a step deeper. What does it really say about someone when they can't give a clear apology? When they cloud it up, when they avoid ownership, when they act like just saying, I'm sorry, with no follow up, no change is supposed to be enough. Here's the truth. A cloudy apology usually isn't a sign of remorse. What is it that we need to look out for? The red flags of a cloudy apology. Vagueness. I'm sorry if I upset you. Translation. I'm not really admitting I did anything wrong. Deflection. Well, you did stuff too. They want shared blame more than they want resolution. Emotional manipulation. Why are you still upset? Or, I said sorry. What more do you want? They want forgiveness without accountability. There's also lack of follow through. They say sorry, then repeat the same behavior within days or weeks. What does this tell you about the person? It tells you they may not be ready for growth. They may not have the emotional tools yet, or they may care more about keeping the peace than earning back your trust. So, how do we handle it? Number one, ask for clarity. What exactly are you apologizing for? If they can't or won't answer, you've got your answer. Hold your boundary. I hear your apology, but I also need to see change. Detach if needed. If the pattern continues, it may be time to walk away, not because you're bitter, but because you're protecting your peace. In order for us to grow and get closer to our peace, we have to understand real apologies clear the air, fake ones cloud it up. And if someone can't come to the table with honesty, humility, and growth, you don't owe them your continued trust. You deserve clear words, clear intentions, and clear effort. Anything less isn't healing, it's avoidance. As I close out this episode, if someone says they're sorry, but they keep doing the same thing over and over, they're not learning. And there's a woman in my life that was incredibly influential. Her name was Zelpha Blythe Parsons. She told me that if you ask somebody to not do something because it really hurts you and makes you feel bad, and they do it again, they don't have your best interest in mind. You need to move away from that person. So if they're not coming to the table like they should, they're not learning, they're not healing, they're protecting their comfort at your expense. And I say this with love. You don't have to keep giving people access to you when they've proven they won't change. Forgiveness doesn't mean permission. Understanding doesn't mean tolerance. I have to put this out there in black and white. Cloudy apologies are a warning sign. If they can't face what happened with honesty, if they won't show you growth, then they're not really sorry. And that's when it's just not okay to set boundaries. It's necessary. As always, this is Jeff with Jeff's Changes for Life. Today's going to rock because we're beginning to understand the patterns of people that continually disrupt our peace. And by understanding what's happening and the lack of accountability, we step closer to our peace.